everyone, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Pandana, and I'm the Product Marketing Manager here at Kore.ai. I'm responsible for our agent platform. I'm excited to kick off today's session on a topic that is front and center for many of you: how to deliver personalized agentic experiences at scale. I'm delighted to be joined by my colleague Ashish, who's been with Core for more than 5 years. He's been a part of our agentic journey from the very beginning and has played a key role in shaping the platform and helping our customers realize its potential. Ashish will take us deeper into the product perspective and will be showing you how personalization and scale is made possible. And over the next few minutes, here's what we'll be covering. We'll start by looking at the role of personalization across the enterprise and why it matters. And then we'll dig deeper into agent memory, a core concept that makes true personalization possible. And finally, we'll wrap up with a product demo where you'll see firsthand how you can manage agent memory within the core platform. And this will enable you to deliver personalized experiences at scale. Now that you have a sense of what we'll be covering, let's first have a look at why personalization has become such a critical priority. Enterprises are not just experimenting with AI, they're doing so with a very clear intention. According to Gartner, 85% of customer service leaders plan to explore or pilot customer facing AI solutions, and you guessed it right, the top driver is personalization. This shows us something critical. AI in customer service is no longer just about cost reduction or automation alone. It's about creating personalized human like experiences that build trust and long term relationships at scale. While personalization in agentic AI is often discussed in the context of hyper-personalizing customer experiences, the true value of personalization is much broader. Today, leading enterprises are embedding personalization into their operational DNA, with agentic AI orchestrating customer workflows, approvals, and recommendations that fit the unique context of every business process and user. In the employee realm, this translates to onboarding journeys, training, and real time support that feel tailored for each individual, leading to higher efficiency and satisfaction. By thinking beyond the customer, you can unlock enterprise wide gains. You can turn every process and employee touchpoint into a personalized value generating interaction. And personalization directly translates into measurable business outcomes for both customers and employees. In customer facing contexts, hyperpersonalization has shown to increase customer lifetime value by up to 25%, and it's been able to cut churn by 30%, with some organizations realizing a 300% ROI in the very first year. According to a study by Forrester, firms that integrate personalization into their core operations consistently report higher ROI and more efficient targeted workflows. This is proof that personalization drives smarter automation and not just better engagement. And the impact extends into the workforce itself. By 2028, more than 20% of enterprise applications will drive AI driven personalization, and employees using them will be nearly 3 times more productive than those who don't. So, if you really think about what makes personalization possible, at its core, personalization is nothing more than remembering. Remembering who you are, what you've asked for, what your preferences are, and what's most relevant in a given context. That's exactly what agent memory brings into play. Just like human interactions rely on memory to feel natural and connected, agentic AI relies on agent memory to make experiences contextual, adaptive, and continuous. When agents lack memory, the costs show up immediately. Every interaction resets to zero. Customers are stuck repeating the same information again and again. Applications cannot adapt to ongoing context. They treat each other, they treat each request in isolation and lose sight of prior steps or intent. And because the system has to process the same details again and again, redundant information processing drives up your costs. In other words, no memory doesn't just mean a bad experience for your customers and employees, it undermines the very ROI of your AI investments. To unpack what agent memory really is and how it works within the core AI platform, let me hand it over to Ashish. Over to you, Ashish.
My name is Ashish, and I'm a part of the product team here at Kore.ai. So far, we've been talking about why personalization matters, and that's obviously important. But let's now dig into why it's actually, or how it's actually delivered. And the foundation is something that we call agent memory. You can think of agent memory as basically the cognitive architecture that an agent uses to essentially let it accumulate knowledge, remember past interactions, and basically adapt over time, sort of similarly to how we do things as humans. And that brings us to our next point, which is what memory really enables, right? Without memory, every interaction you have is stateless, essentially just prompts in and responses out without any remembrance or persistence of what's actually happened. With memory, interactions become stateful. The persistence that you add to the system lets your agent build relationships and enable continuity as users of your agent's applications. Okay, so now let's look at how we at Kore.ai think about memory and how we kind of break it down. At Core, we make memory down into three main compartments. One within inbuilt is what we call as episodic memory, which is primarily responsible for remembering past events. Then we have semantic memory, which lets you store knowledge and facts, essentially things that you infer or gather from your interactions as an agent with the user. And finally, we have what we call the procedural compartment, which lets you capture workflows and sequences that you can then use to basically build better agents or just figure out what works and what doesn't. We believe that almost 80 to 90% of use cases related to memory can be solved with these three inbuilt compartments. But in case our customers have something where they need to build something that is not available within the system's inbuilt compartments, we also provide the option of building what we call as custom memory, which is basically where you can come in and define the structure of these custom memories. So basically what that information looks like, the scope of this memory, whether this information needs to be available across all the users of your app, or whether it's supposed to be used for only a specific user, or if you want to even go further lower in the granularity, you can even set it up to be session level in case you want to share any specific information across different components of your application. Across all of these combinations, you get to define how long the system remembers these things, which is what we call the retention period. So now let's see how does this actually play out in the real world. In support, whenever you have an agent interacting with a user about, let's say, a billing issue, and the user comes in and says, well, I was talking to you last week and this is, and that's it. Like the user doesn't need to actually go and repeat themselves. The agent just figures this out using the episodic compartment. Similarly, with semantic, let's say you have an agent that is responsible for upselling or just providing sales assistant as customers try and shop something on your website. Semantic memory lets your agent figure out answers to typical questions such as what is the warranty period for the product, and you don't need to do a lot of juggling to be able to provide that answer very quickly. Similarly, with procedural memory, you can use it to do slightly more complicated flows. Let's say, for instance, something like initiating an onboarding sequence for a new employee or a new user, really. And the inbuilt components within procedural memory let you do that very easily and let you personalize what onboarding steps, let's say, a new user needs to go through. Similarly, with custom memory, there's lots of examples, but let's say a simple example could be that you have a project management agent that holds real-time data or needs real-time data about current team situation as well as what they're trying to work on. And you can use the custom memory store to provide answers to questions like a user coming in and asking what they should work on next. And so that's really where you can use it. At this point, let me just jump over into the core platform and really show you what that looks like. So here on your screen, you will see how you can define or tweak both inbuilt as well as custom memory within the core platform. as I was mentioning earlier, within inbuilt memory, we have three system compartments that are already available. There's the episodic memory compartment, which lets you remember previous conversations. By default, we provide support for about 50 conversations to be remembered as is. This can be tweaked up or down depending on what you need. But anything more than that that needs to be retained by the system can be summarized, and you can also define how you want that summary to be created. And that's your episodic memory. On the semantic side, setups sort of similar. You get to define what facts you want to extract from your conversations. And again, it's pretty straightforward to do. Lastly, with procedural memory, it's even simpler. We have inbuilt extraction and retrieval algorithms built or components built that let you sort of extract important details like the workflow as well as any patterns that you're seeing in user behavior that you can use to build out your procedural memory. Let me now jump on to building or showing you an example of how you can do custom memory. It's a slightly involved, like 2 or 3 steps. It's not a lot of configuration needed, but it's straightforward. So let's say I'm trying to build a simple user notes memory store where somebody can come in and define, or like an agent can keep a running track of what a user is interacting to it with about. So I can just step in and define that experience. We provide, like I was saying earlier, we provide you support to define the structure of what your memory store looks like. And to do that easily and efficiently, you can define the schema for what that would look like. So let me just copy paste a simple schema that I've pre-prepared. And this will basically let the memory store understand the structure of these user nodes that are coming in. As I was saying earlier, you can define the access level or the scope that each of these memory stores, custom memory stores, have available to. Since this is a user node or a user level memory, I'll just keep it down to user. I can define the data retention period. Just keep it as a month, and that's pretty much it. And once you've started doing this, or once you've built your once you've turned on the inbuilt memory, or once you've built your custom memory stores, you can start using them across the platform. And let me just jump into an example or two of how you can do that as well. So here's an example of being able to use, let's say, the memory that you've just built within an agent. If I go to the agent definition, I can provide it very simple instructions, like basically saying in here that use all the information that is available within semantic memory or memory.facts to retrieve relevant factual information about that particular user. Similarly, you can define the same behavior for the orchestrator or the supervisor. And here you can see that I'm asking the supervisor to load the previous conversation history from the episodic compartment within the memory again. Finally, I can use the same memories that I've created in future interactions. Here you see an example of me trying to use existing execution plans within a tool, which lets my agent go and retrieve this memory on demand as they need. So here's the full gamut of how you can essentially configure memory within the platform. Let's jump back into our slides. We've discussed the examples and we've seen what you can do with this. And I've already talked you through how you can load memory into an orchestrator or a specific agent. Just recapping again, we discussed how within an agent's instructions, you can go in and configure, let's say, how that agent can use semantic memory or facts generated from previous scenarios. And similarly, you can also configure as a part of the orchestrator planning to go and reference procedural memory that has been generated through private interactions. With that, I think I'm at the end of our talk. I thank everybody for joining us, and yeah, we'd love to help you to apply memory and in general build agents that are helpful for your business scenarios. Thank you.